Boxing is a theater of the unexpected, quoted by the famous commentator Larry Merchant. And like in the square stage of boxing, you always have your protagonist and antagonist, your hero and villain. A fighter that one loves to hate, which subliminally will cause masses to be physically and emotionally invested in watching their demise or watching them rise and conquer. In this video, I'll cover the biggest villains in the sport and how they were branded as the villain. With that being said, let's start the video. Even though Haye was known for his trash talking, in spring of 2009, he would take it an atmosphere higher in the build-up with his would-be cancelled fight against Vladimir Klitschko.
I'm going over to Germany to knock out Vladimir Klitschko and watch it live and exclusive on Satanta Sports.
Haye wearing an incredibly graphic t-shirt, which I cannot show, of Haye holding the heads of both the brothers, Vladimir and Vitaly, as what remains of their bodies laying on the canvas. Since this t-shirt was met with many outlets covering it, Vladimir was embarrassed and angered by the depiction, challenged Haye in the ring on the basis of that. Keep in mind that Haye was not the mandatory and not even ranked in the top 10 by Ring Magazine.
Good, healthy, no problems, no injuries. I'm just raring to go. Preparation couldn't have gone better than it's gone so far.
The fight in June 2009 was ultimately cancelled due to Haye pulling out due to an injury fairly late into the promotion of the fight, with thousands of fans already booking flights to Germany and the TV network Satanta losing millions in lost revenue they invested in advertising and broadcasting rights to the event, which ultimately led to them dissolving and many to lose their jobs. With that being cancelled and a September matchup just barely not being made according to the BBC's lack of interest between Haye versus Vitaly Klitschko on September 12th, Haye versus Valuev was made shortly, which Haye cranked it into full gear, mocking the heavyweight champ Valuev, destroying his promotional cutout, then in interviews calling him the ugliest person he had ever seen, really going in on the appearance of the champion.
Ugly as hell, is probably one of the ugliest human beings. He is the ugliest human being I've ever seen in the flesh. You see his horror movies, you think, oh, no one can look like that. No, this guy truly does.
Haye would go on to defeat Valuev.
It must feel like it's paper darts against the mountain. Oh, he's got it going with a left hook. What a finish here. Haye gets to Valuev, who definitely did a silly dance there. He nearly took down the giant.
After an embarrassing loss to Vladimir,
As you can see, I broke my toe. So I was unable to push off with my right foot, which is very frustrating.
When did you break your toe?
I broke about 3 weeks ago. I've been getting local anesthetics in it to try to numb it.
the villain role would pick up in the build-up to his fight with Chisora, where Haye cracked him with a bottle, which sparked a big promotion for the fight.
Oh, big left hand on the right! Tremendous shots from Haye! And he couldn't stand up! And he's gone again! I don't think he's going to get up this time!
Haye would meet his ultimate match in the build-up to his fight with Tyson Fury. At that time, Fury was definitely perceived to be a villain after his promotion of the Steve Cunningham fight.
I hope you understand that. I hope your trainer understands that. I hope your wife understands that. I hope everybody understands it. Because I mean business. I didn't come to the USA to play around and play tip-tap boxing. I came here to do demolition jobs on cruiserweights. That's what I do. Listen, I'm not named after a battleship or whatever. Tyson Fury's the name and fighting's the game.
Okay.
End of.
This fight would also get cancelled due to another Haye injury. After retiring from the sport, Haye would come back and we'll see once again an entertaining promotion in the lead up against cruiserweight champion Tony Bellew.
Them two guys you fought last two were a joke, and you're robbing everybody who pays to come in the arena. Listen, you predicted BJ was going to beat me, didn't you? You predicted he was going to be, he got smashed. And you see you're going to get smashed too. I don't care how dangerous you think you are.
I think everyone knows what I think of Billy. This man reminds me of the bad guys from 80s/early 90s movies. You know those guys. The bad guys in those movies where when you finally see them lose at the end of the movie, it's the most satisfying thing to watch. What can I say here? In and out the ring, Billy came in as your ideal 80s movie villain, with all his antics and then some, and went out exactly like your 80s villain, being put away in the most ironic fashion, that being Billy openly mocking Daniel Du Bois for retiring from his fight against Joe Joyce due to a broken orbital bone, which is a very serious injury by the way, then for Billy to encounter the very same injury and retire on his stool in front of 60,000 spectators and millions of watching around the world.
Canelo acting like he's already knocked him out. And it is over. They have stopped the fight.
Even though there's 3 brothers, 3 champions, I'm only going to discuss the original duo that created the whole Kameda Brothers brand. Most Westerners that have seen Japanese fighters that come to the West to fight or watch an international broadcast, they are constantly informed about how polite and respectful the fighters are. These guys did the complete opposite, which was incredibly uncommon in boxing, especially at their high level of the sport. Koki and Daiki were brash, flamboyant personalities that side of the boxing scene has never seen, and their dad was just as flamboyant as his sons. As their popularity grew rather quickly nationwide due to their persona, the real drama will take place in 2006. 19-year-old Koki against Juan Jose Ladeta for the vacant WBA title. Despite it being an amazing fight and a spirited effort by the heavily inexperienced Koki, he would win by a controversial split decision. In America, this happens all the time. Bad decisions or officiating happens, makes headlines, fans are mad for that week or just that weekend, and it blows over, and nobody is really held accountable for anything. This angered everybody as they thought the decision was rigged, and according to AsianBoxing.info, labeled it the day Japanese boxing died. A poll was ran and 94% believed Juan Jose won, 4% thought it was a draw, and 3% believed Kameda won. There was a wave of complaints of fight fans and just spectators calling the TBS network. Fans were going as far as writing apology letters to the Venezuelan embassy to apologize to Juan Jose. And this is where we'll get the infamous viral video of the dad speaking on the family's criticism on a live TV talk show and a heated debate with boxing legend Guts Ishimatsu. I know there was a video way back in the day of early YouTube showing screenshots of certain figures in attendance that were high-ranking Yakuza members. I'm not sure if that's true, but this was roughly around the time of the Pride FC scandal, so who really knows on that? Just barely a year later, even more controversy. The 18-year-old 10-0 Daiki Kameda gets a shot based on clout alone to fight WBC lineal champion Daisuke Naito. Former lineal and WBC champion Pongsaklak Wangjongham, who was a mandatory, stepped aside, allowing Daisuke to fight Kameda, but he will have to give him his rematch if he gets past Daiki. That would make it their 4th fight in the ring together. The hype for this fight was massive, met with a lot of trash talk, mostly from Daiki and his father, which just created crazy media coverage. The ring walks followed up to the face-off really set the tone for what would be in store for the fight, with Daiki's dad really getting in there during the face-off. You have an 18-year-old who has not fought any opponents to test him, and he's immediately thrown out there to fight not a contender for the vacant title, not a title holder, but the legitimate champion of that weight class. And homeboy got a boxing lesson.
本当は内藤選手はここで突き放したいみたいな。
今この第1ラウンドの動き、両者どうご覧になる？内藤のパンチっていろんね。
どっから出てくるかわからないんで。
そうですね、左を伸ばす。
左のボディ、いいコンビネーションな左のキック。ここのワン。
To make things worse, Daiki and his team went the worst possible route of using dirty tactics, thumbing, shouldering, low blows, and the icing on the top throwing Naito down. Naito would finally retaliate, and guess what? Vic Draculich would deduct a point from Naito.
これは1点減点だ。内藤の反則だ。1ポイント減点。
Is it just me, or Draculich is always reffing incredibly dirty fights? Anyways, Daiki is literally in a full-on teenage meltdown mode. Daiki is forcefully trying to take down Naito. The crowd by this point has completely changed sides and started rooting on Naito. After numerous purposeful takedowns, Daiki was finally issued a point deduction in round 12.
1ポイント減点ですね。
Naito would win by a clear shutout in the scorecards. Daiki would face a lengthy suspension, and his dad would be permanently banned working in the corner. Koki, who was also present in the corner, was also disciplined. This was an absolute mess, but holy crap, this made the promotion for the Naito vs Koki fight even bigger than it really should have, drawing historic numbers that is yet to be matched for a boxing event in Japan. The West would brand Koki the Floyd Mayweather of Japan based off of TV ratings. With the father unable to train Koki, he would be trained by now world-renowned trainer Eddie Reynoso coming into the Naito fight. Kameda would end up winning and cementing the Kameda clan style of boxing in the history books and the list of lineal champions. Despite being a mixed bag of hate and love, they still remain well known to this day. In an ad campaign by the candy bar Snickers, they casted Koki and his dad to be in the commercial.
Después de pelear conmigo ya no va a querer pelear más en el boxeo.
That after fighting Julio, he won't want to step in the ring ever again in his life.
Le voy a dar la peor paliza de toda su vida.
It's gonna give him the worst beating he's ever felt in life.
Y lo voy a prometer.
And he says he promises that.
Hogan, known for his trash talking, really selling a fight.
Well, I just hope your dad doesn't get too excited when he sees you laying face down on the mat.
He makes this list, finding a way of not only angering Chavez, but upsetting an entire nation.
Hogan sí no le voy a tener nada de compasión. With Hogan, I ain't gonna have no pity on Hogan because I'm gonna knock him out because he's got a big mouth. No, a ti sí te voy a arrancar la cabeza. I'm gonna chop your head off.
With the comments that was on record and off the record that he proudly brought up.
The only thing that I said was that Julio fought 60 Tijuana cab drivers, and I don't feel that he's an 84-0 fighter. I mean, that's a pretty puffed up record. He was sparring young little girls' dresses on, is what I said, and I told him I'd be willing to spar him for free to help him out.
I've disliked him since that moment.
132,247 fight fans showed up to the Azteca Stadium to watch Chavez shut up Hogan, possibly an attendance we're not going to see for a long while to a boxing event. Despite all the trash talk and years of built-up animosity between the two, this would go in the history books as one of Chavez's easiest fights.
La izquierda, velocidad, la mano derecha, retrocede el estadounidense de espaldas a la propia esquina de Julio César Chávez, y esto se acabó.
Si estaba peleando como un payaso, como dije delante. No tengo bonito estilo, pero sí tengo una pegada increíble. No lo boxeé porque mi esquina me mandó a que lo boxeara primero.
He hit me, but I was fighting a clown. I didn't knock him out in the first round because my corner told me to take it easy, but I got him.
What can I say here? Mayorga, inside and outside the ring, he's easily one of the biggest villains in the sport.
Don't forget that Oscar didn't beat Shane. He tried twice and he lost.
It's not even a forced narrative where the promotion is like, well, we can't sell tickets where you are pretending to be the humble good guy. We need to turn it up a notch and really promote it. He is literally just doing what he wants to do, say what he wants to say, and then some. He was based as base gets. Besides the physical, brutal nature of Foreman taking the heavyweight division by storm and being blunt to the press,
Beg your pardon?
You would continue boxing even if you would lose over there.
I beg your pardon?
You don't think about losing?
No. Thank you. Nice talking.
Really wasn't till the build up to the Ali fight being painted as one of the biggest villains in boxing, to where despite the mass majority not thinking Ali had a chance against George, they all gathered to root for him.
Foreman said, "Why? I'm blacker than Muhammad Ali. Why all this bias?" Yes, Muhammad Ali, he was lighter, but he was a real person. He was genuine. Muhammad Ali could have been even lighter skinned than he was, but for us, he was defending the good cause, for Africans and the whole world.
Due to Ali's stance on human rights, the war, and the type of stand-up guy he was, it resonated with the African people way before his arrival, to where Ali was greeted by many.
And for us, it was extraordinary to see that in the America of that time, someone could take such a position. He may have lost his title, he may have lost millions of dollars, but that's where he gained the esteem of millions of Africans.
The moment Foreman landed and stepped out the plane, where the public saw him for the first time, as in all they knew he was the champ, he was automatically the villain, unintentionally. Foreman greets the Congolese crowd while walking his German Shepherd dog, which offended many, as these dogs were used by the Belgian colonists from 1908 to when Congo became independent in 1960. Belgium being responsible for one of the biggest human rights atrocities of the 1900s.
He arrived with a dog, a German Shepherd, which immediately offended Africans since the Belgians had used Shepherd as police dogs.
Foreman would go on to lose to Ali and retire 3 years later. Perception of George would stay, as they were unaware what he was doing over the years, as a person physically and spiritually. The public's perception would make a dramatic change after the Holyfield fight.
Aquí a pelear, yo no vine a hacer Miyazaki, y el día que Elena pelee conmigo va a tener que pelear.
You can't mention Ricardo Mayorga without mentioning the OG himself, Roberto Duran. Duran is the one who brought this whole macho machismo persona to the mainstream. He was the perfect villain one would love to root for, the villain to root against, which attracted millions of people to watch who he's fighting.
He used it. He used the blaster. The night of the fight with me. He looks and he acts like a criminal.
Antonio Margarito is one of the biggest villains for all the wrong reasons. Fans were emotionally and physically invested in the rise of Margarito, a big, heavy-handed welterweight that pressed forward that somewhat resembled a Chavez, a type of fighter the boxing public and Mexican fight fans were waiting for a long time to see. With the sudden retirement of Floyd Mayweather, Paul Williams getting dethroned by Carlos Quintana, the matchup to be the best welterweight couldn't have been put on a better stage than Cotto versus Margarito, your classic Mexico versus Puerto Rico rivalry, giving birth to a superstar in boxing. Margarito's humble beginnings, rags to riches story will come to an immediate turn for the worse, as on fight day against Mosley, there was plaster discovered in his hand wraps by Mosley's trainer Nazim Richardson.
There was such a distraction about the tape on the wrist. You know, that could be the fake out. I'll show you this to give you something else. So I checked the patent, and when I checked the patent, it felt hard. So then the commissioner felt that, he said, that feels pretty hard. The commissioner flipped it open, and a block fell out of it.
The fight would go on, and Mosley would obliterate Margarito. This would put Margarito's career into question. How long has he been loading his wraps?
But the California State Athletic Commission found sulfur and calcium in the knuckle pads, ingredients that form plaster of Paris. As a result, the commission voted unanimously to suspend both boxer and trainer for a year, pending reinstatement.
Instead of trying to fix what is wrong over time, repairing his image with the public, he sort of just embraced all the negativity. As seen leading up to the Pacquiao and Cotto matches, he rather enjoyed playing the villain role.
Demuestra ahí, ¿para qué estás hablando? Demuéstrale ahí. Así será. Entonces, así será. Entonces, demuéstrale ahí, no hables. Así va a ser. Espero verlo y sentirlo.
Margarito blind in one eye. And on top of that, this is the biggest villains in boxing. For another installment, be sure to like, share, and if you're new, subscribe. Subscribe to the Patreon for patron-backed projects and early access. That project being on Vasily Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez. I'm Alfa Sancho, and I'm out.